Good morning. Welcome to another free edition of another edition of the Free Exchange of Ideas. It's Saturday. Sorry about yesterday, but there was a lot of information coming in that was confusing to me. It's still confusing to me about the submersible that 5 people died in going to the Titanic. A couple of things. First off, when they had the sonar buoys down, they heard banging every 30 minutes. Every 30 minutes. Over a 4-hour period, that's what they said. That's what they said then. That was on, I think that was on Tuesday or Wednesday. I'm not positive. Tuesday or Wednesday. And then they sent a couple of submersibles that are robots, robo-submersibles, down to the Titanic the next day, and they found debris. I think they just said earlier this morning, they said 600 or 800 meters off of the bow of the Titanic. So a debris field. They confirmed later that that was the submersible. But today, this morning, they were saying, why did the submersible get crushed on its way down? About an hour and a half in is when they lost communications, which was well before they would have got to that depth. The Titanic sits at 12,500 feet. That's deep. It's 400 times the weight on the submersible at that point would be 400 times sea level atmospheric. So, all that being said, I'm a little confused because they said this morning that the submersible was crushed an hour and a half into its dive. The dive was supposed to be, I want to say, 3 or 4 hours. So, they're saying now that for whatever reason, the submersible was crushed then, imploded then, and the debris just floated to about 800 meters off of the bow, forward of the bow. So I'm confused. Did they die on the way down? Where did the sounds of the banging come from? Was a sonar buoy hitting something? I don't think so, because then it would have been extremely loud, way louder than they would have expected. And it wouldn't have been regular every 30-minute intervals over a 4-hour period. So, who's lying to us now? And why? There were 3 billionaires on that craft. The pilot, who's also the co-owner of the company, I don't recall the names of the other 2 guys, and one guy's son, and there was another dude on there that wasn't a billionaire. They also said this morning that that trip cost $250,000 a seat. So the one guy with his son paid $500,000 to commit suicide, in essence. That's a mean thing to say. Please don't take that wrongly. He had to know that that submersible was not up to snuff. The owner of the company, the owners of the company had received letters from several people. I heard from James Cameron this morning that vehicle was not prepared. It was built out of carbon fiber, which is an extremely strong molding material, building material. However, it's not. It has great strength, but it doesn't have great flexibility. So when it reaches a crushing point, it just disintegrates. And that's not a good building material for that type of device or vehicle, because it's a crushing thing. And if you've ever seen a car with a carbon fiber nose hit a wall, it just disintegrates. It comes apart. It's not strong that way. They used it as a flexible or crushing. It's not good in that environment. Plus, there was a lot of plexiglass or glass viewing areas on that vehicle. I don't know why, because also the originally when they first talked about it, it didn't look like it had a propulsion system. I'm guessing it had some kind of floating. I thought it had like a quadcopter type directional system. They could move, like on a lot of submersibles. They have the small submersibles. They have the independent turning fans, and they can move back up and down and side to side or not side to side, but up and down horizontally and vertically, so that they can adjust how they want to go through the water. And obviously they decided to have some kind of power plant to generate that and get it back up. Because my wife thought, what, they just let it go and hope it floats to the place where it's going? No, it's got to have some kind of directive power source. I mean, directive propellers or whatever. And I think this did have 4, like a quadcopter kind of thing, set up just on the outside of the platform that sits on. So my confusion remains: did they die an hour and a half in, and then the debris field just floated down to the front of the bow of the Titanic, which would be odd. I would expect a much larger debris field as well. Or did they make it down and then realize at that time that they were screwed without help, and begin banging on the inside of the craft to get it make noise? And now I'm confused. So I guess we'll wait to see. In the in the press conference this morning, somebody asked the Coast Guard if they were expecting to recover bodies, and he was as polite as possible in saying, no, we don't expect to recover bodies. At that depth, the ocean floor is an extremely unforgiving environment. Meaning 2 things. One, when the sub imploded, it crushed their bodies and probably turned them into little floaty bits. And then, of course, fish eat floaty bits. So there's a lot of fish down there. I don't know what else to say. Is that what I need for light? I didn't realize that. I apologize. I don't know what I did. At any rate, that's all I got for you. I'll follow this story. I'll keep up with it and keep you informed. And hopefully we'll actually learn some other good things. Besides, carbon fiber is not a good building material for submersibles that are supposed to go that low. That's all I got for you, I think. So, with all that being said, don't forget, fluffy bunnies have teeth and claws for a reason. Live long, fight hard, win the day. See ya.